listening today?
Good evening. I'm Coulter Wonkite. I'm already into the 420, damn it.
So what are you doing? Nothing. Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. This is how much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how the chiva grows. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
Oh, I thought you were going to sing, Mary Jane.
Oh, no, I asked if you were going to sing.
You're the one that does the karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too early for that.
So, hello, this is the 420 Radio Show. I'm at Ganjanistas in Hamilton, 242 King Street East. And I get that every time because the sign's right there in the window. I can see it. I don't forget. Marcel's here. Mary Jane is here. And we have our guest, Randy Caine, with us. Hi, Randy.
Hey, how are you?
So we are now covered coast to coast.
Yeah, literally. Quite literally. Yep. And also, we are going live tomorrow night with our first reggae show. It's Reggae Saturdays with DJ Passion from Jamaica, from the Butterfly Passion Bed and Breakfast, or I don't know. We'll get that name down there. I don't know what they call it. But, yeah, that's good. They've been testing. I don't know if anybody listening has heard it, but Passion was testing yesterday, and it sounded really good. So, you'll hear people talking in the background, I'm sure, but that's okay because we're at a lounge. Randy, why don't you tell people who you are and what you're about and then why you're here?
Okay, well, my name's Randy Caine. I've been, working in drug law reform for probably the last 25 years. John Conroy and I worked together on a constitutional challenge that went to the Supreme Court of Canada along with Chris Clay and David Malmo Levine. From there, of course, I moved into opening up a business called Hempyz, got involved with medical marijuana, supporting that in my local community, and which kind of brings me up to today, 10 years down the road of Hempyz, and I'm still dealing with sort of the residue of, of propaganda in terms of drug policy. So my bank won't treat me as they would treat other banks or other, other lenders. I'd like to have my business be recognized for the strength of 10 years of good business, and but the TD seems to feel that they don't want to have association with businesses like ours. Big business, they don't seem to have a problem with. If I was an LP, they would finance that. If I wanted to buy stocks in an LP, I could go to the TD and do that. But in terms of supporting small business people and probably many of us that have contributed to, the movement and the evolution of this industry, my concern is that there will be those of us that will be locked out. And so that's why every day I go down to the TD Bank at Willowbrook in Langley, and I've got a big red chair, and I sit there for a couple hours a day, chatting with the local community and waving and smiling and bringing attention to this.
Right on. That's excellent.
What kind of response are you getting, Randy?
Well, you know what? It's actually been very good. I've never been to a protest. I'm 64 years old too, so I've never been to a protest. I never made up a protest sign, so I wasn't sure what would happen. But I felt that I at least had to speak up against what I really felt was sort of just bullying, and I've never really cared for that. So going out, I had no expectations, and what I found though is that people are beginning to take interest in it. It's each day seems to add a little bit more to that, where I'm having people now that are parking their cars and are coming over and saying, I've seen you here for the last month. I need to know what's going on. And I take them through it. And when I explain that it's not about me borrowing money from the bank, It's just that after 10 years, I feel that I should be at least due some acknowledgement of a credit rating. No different than, let's say, an individual, if you went out and you worked at a good job, a stable position for 10 years, and you had your T4s, and you go to the bank and you say, okay, I don't need any money right now, but would you like pre-approve me for a mortgage? And they would say, damn right, that looks really good. Well, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't want any money, but if somewhere down the road I saw an opportunity for my business, or how about if a competitor comes into the community, I'd like to be able to defend the business that I've built over 10 years and to defend the people that have helped me build this business over the last 10 years. But if I'm locked out of a world of credit access, then that really causes a great challenge for me. I mean, like I say, I have no debt with my company. There's no money that I owe. I'm debt free, but it's this idea of being locked out in this regard that, you know, I rail against every day.
And it's a good point.
Yeah.
Because seriously, I like your point of bringing up of bullying, because essentially that's all it is bullying.
Yeah, very much so. And but you know, this is where I look at myself. I could say, as you know, like I'm 64 years old. I've got businesses in this community. I've lived here for a long time. I've run for mayor and council in this community, and you know, I'm fairly well known. And so, let's say I've got a lot of white privilege, if I can use that as a term. And yet, I'm still perched on the sidewalk in front of my own bank for the last 34 days. So, you know, I'd have to look at that and go, okay, what really is going on? And then I start looking at, as I was saying earlier, about this sort of the residue left over from the propaganda. Prohibition, we can, you know, in a strike of a pen, we change it from being illegal to legal. Okay, that's wonderful. But what about what has been said of us over many, many years, you know, 50 years, 100 years, about our character, our lack of it, whether we're a threat to the community, whether we're a threat to children, whether we really should be considered part of. So that is really the battleground I feel that I'm addressing by sitting out in front of the bank, which is the very underbelly of drug policy, which is that we had to be turned into demons before we could be demonized. And that's what needs to be understood and corrected as we move forward, is that residue that's left over. And this is what people continue to think of us. This is what I'm dealing with each and every day, where the bank can treat me in this fashion, and people shrug their shoulders and go, well, you know, you're a pot smoker, or your store is about marijuana. And that seems to be reason enough to treat me as they would. And this isn't just me, but to treat us in general as they will. And that is really, I think, why my focus moving forward is going to be in that area, is that residue that is left over. It is truly the underbelly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that gets me is, you know, like you said, you can go. I know many people who are trading just through their bank accounts. Royal, TD, or whoever you go to, you can trade on the market. You can trade cannabis companies. TD is supposedly one of the banks that is okay with cannabis. I just saw an article about it. I think it's very selective. It's your community where you are. They're essentially each bank is essentially a franchise, right? Even though they're, you know, owned by the bank, they're run basically as franchises, aren't they not? So they're under some kind of scheduling.
No, not the TD. The TD is actually a charter bank, and I received a letter today finally based upon the position of the TD. It took about a month. You know, when they spoke with me about a month ago regarding this, it was a fellow by the name of Sunny Chahal, who is he's a regional manager for the Pacific region, actually, small business banking. I had a meeting with him about a month ago regarding sort of this idea where essentially what, you know, I guess the nuts and bolts of this is that I have a $30,000 personal line of credit that I started my company with 10 years ago. At the 5-year mark, my business had gone very well. I had 3 stores, you know, 12 to 15 staff members, took my great financials down, and all I really wanted was to have my numbered company added to my personal line of credit, with me remaining as a guarantor. No different than co-signing for your child. And that I've been denied. I've got great credit, and so there shouldn't be any denial there. It's not like I'm looking for a loan for my company. It's just wanting to try to build it. So anyway, eventually I do get a letter back from the TD, but, this Sonny Chahal, in the meeting that I had with him, was very adamant that the TD wasn't going to have anything to do with marijuana businesses. And I said, well, it isn't about marijuana. And he went on to call my store like a head shop. And I wouldn't say that when Mr. Chahal used the term head shop, that he used it in a familiar, friendly sense that we might use it. He used it in a very derogatory way. So now it's interesting when I get a written letter about the position of the bank that Mr. Chahal doesn't seem to have the cojones to actually put in his words, but that's fine. I was kind of betting against that he wouldn't do it anyway, so I guess on that I did win the bet. But essentially, they haven't really clarified it. They go on to say here, TD acknowledges that the cannabis industry and related businesses are evolving industries in Canada. TD continues to monitor and perform its due diligence regarding the evolution of these industries, including businesses such as yours. However, TD has made the decision to decline your credit request and is not willing to extend further credit to your business at this time. So it's very, it's very pointed, very directed at my business, not towards my numbered company. So that's, I think that these are things looking forward we're going to have to address. I would believe that once the laws are changed, where we have legalized it and we are then legal, my sense of discussing this with lawyers is that this is going to make a very quick shift over into things like, hate speech or hate crime. They won't be able to make certain assertions or about us without being able to back it up. Right now they can. Drugs are bad, so are we. But once drugs aren't bad, once they're legal, they won't be able to tar and feather us as readily. And I think it's going to be a game changer moving forward in terms of equal and fair treatment. But at this point in time, it still is going on. And like I say, I sit up in front of the bank every day to try to draw attention to this.
I like that.
It's definitely not. I know a lot of people who are going through it. I don't know how people are getting away with it. I mean, if you use a numbered account, a numbered business, it shouldn't matter what your business is. Like, how would you even know? Like, do you have to prove? Like, I've not started a business in a long time. I don't know what's going to happen when I go into a bank. Do I have to tell them that it's a cannabis business? It's just my business. I just want to have a business to put money through. Like, do you have to tell them what kind of business it is now?
Well, you don't have to. But
technically, you kind of do, because they don't want you to set up a business just to launder money.
Well, yes, but they won't even let you just say gifts and novelties. They will say, what kind of gifts and novelties? So they do actually, like you say, wish to extract a certain amount of information, which generally, as a business person, I wouldn't mind, because that's the kind of discussion you'd like to have with your bank, so that if you actually are seeking some guidance or some understanding, business savvy, that you can turn to them, because that's my sense of when I'm a business customer. I have that as a resource. I pay additionally for business accounts and, sort of the services that they offer up to businesses. So my hope is that I'd be able to utilize it as any other business. But, how that will work, we'll have to kind of wait and see.
It's It's going to be an interesting ride, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just I've said that so many times over the last few weeks, because things are rapidly changing, and I think what the bank is probably saying in layman's terms, talk to us after October.
Well, that could be, and I'm kind of sympathetic to that to some degree. But however, this to me is really, it's a question where my integrity, my principles are being brought into question by sort of their actions, where they would suggest that there's a fine line between legal and illegal in terms of my business, and there is no fine line. And so that is really where the disturbance is. If I was, directly marijuana related, but I carry gifts and novelties, they may have sort of something related to a culture or whatever, but many of the products that I carry, you can go into a lot of other gift and novelty stores and find things like this. I mean, pipes and bongs and cosmetics and T-shirts are, they're somewhat commonplace. What makes my business different is that I've really focused on a brand. So tried to bring, sort of these products into a different kind of an environment where it was, much more broad-based, really sort of culture-based. So even that catches my attention, that if they were able to come into my store, they might then be able to have a better understanding. We've always been very progressive, very forward-thinking. If you were to come into our stores, I think people would immediately identify that it's not what you would normally anticipate. But like I say, we're all being brought under the same umbrella. But the community that I live in, and I mean, I really need to talk about that, is that the community that I live in and have my businesses in, they're amazing people. That's the only reason my businesses have survived, as well as, we've got a compassion center in this community, and they've survived really based on the goodwill of the community.
I just got threatened.
So the bank is just one small voice. I'd like to add that, is how great this community is.
What banks do we know now, Marcel, that are okay with cannabis?
None, really. It's mostly the credit unions for small businesses.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you having any leeway? Like, have you been able to take care of that problem? Are you still in stasis with it, and that's why you're still sitting in front of the bank, or are you just trying to make a point?
Well, it really comes down to is that my business I still run through there. That's kind of the the sort of the hypocrisy of this, is that all my merchant services I'm tied to the TD in terms of payroll and merchant services, my credit card, everything goes through there. So as well as my personal life. So no, I mean the only issue here is like I say, is trying to have the bank acknowledge my business for what it is. And that's the real challenge that we're running into, is there's some sense of moralizing it, and I think really an unfair fashion.
I've been doing this web thing for a long time. My first web business was an adult-related business. And when I started it, I was able to take everything, including player's card. And then 3-4 years later, American Express decided that they weren't going to have anything to do with adult-related businesses in any way, and they stopped allow billing. And that took like 75% of my revenue away from me.
Right.
Okay? And I mean, it's very remnant to what's going on now with the cannabis industry. I see a lot of the same similarities as far as banking goes, and insurance as well. I mean, insurance is starting to come around.
I mean, it's that's when you talk about insurance. I had, let's say, with my business Hempyz, it'd be about 4 years ago. I had my business insurance canceled on my stores, not because I'd ever made a claim or that I'd ever been late or defaulted on a payment. Never ever done that. But all of a sudden they decided that their business, they were trying to run a more ethical insurance company, and they didn't feel that I met the bar of being an ethical company. And so they kicked me to the curb. I had to find another broker, which, I ended up being okay. But once again, that's the aspects that I speak of that we're up against, is that could happen, and there was no recourse that I could really come up against. I tried to approach it, and often people, it is about marijuana, as though that's reason enough. And that's where, like I say, I'm very grateful that, moving forward as we change the laws and some of the rules, that won't be enough, that there will actually be more onus placed on those that would make those allegations or put those pressures on us, and not just the onus being on us to somehow prove that we're worthy. And that I would really look forward to that balancing.
There are a few insurance companies that are coming around. We had a gentleman, Scott Wilkinson, on. Wilkins.
Yeah. Wilkins.
And I can't remember who he works for, but he was at Cannabis. I didn't run into him, though. I didn't see him. But, no, he was at Lyft. That's where he was. And he's been working with his firm to help businesses like yourself. So, there are people out there that are coming around.
Oh yeah, no, and I don't want this to sound like sad stories. These are some of the challenges for any business, and you're right. We are evolving, and there has been solutions along the way, and it's just like I say, there are still some barriers that are there. They're beginning to break, and like when you asked about the PD, their sentiments may change, very much after the 17th. I'm not necessarily confident that it will change without some pressure. So I'll continue to be out there, and sort of trying to bring attention to it. But there are some great strides. I don't know how the regulations are playing out in Ontario at this point in terms of, retail sales and medical sales within your province. But out in BC, I think they're progressing in a really wonderful way. And I don't know whether it's the West Coast influence that we've had such an industry here for so long, that there seems to be a recognition that there needs to be that existing industry needs to be brought in. So that's kind of exciting times, I think, here for a lot of people that have invested so much of their time in developing this industry. So it's exciting times out here in this province for sure.
Yeah, but it sounds like you folks out there are going to have some issues coming up too.
Well, there are some. I mean, there is, of course, one for me because one of my major interests has always been the medical access, and so with under the framework, whether it's federal or provincial, there hasn't been any focus given there. And so what we've done through Relief, compassion centers here in Langley, is that we put forward a proposal to all three levels of government, federal, provincial, and municipal, outlining, relief and how we bring, what we bring to the community, and our concern moving forward, if there's only retail access, what will happen to us. So we've received tremendous support at this point from federal and provincial. They've come and saw the model. They understand we're in a smaller community, so they've come to understand that we serve the very constituents that they serve. And they're looking seriously at, the relief model. The model that we've created has really been somewhat unique. All of our pricing, all of our product is all wholesale in terms of bud. We don't charge any up costs on that. We operate on a $1 per gram dispensing fee. The most expensive, that you would find are $4 grams, and then $1 for dispensing. That's the top of the line product, and then there is some for $3 and then $1. So built a business slowly on that. Took a long time to turn sort of the corner and make it so that it became somewhat profitable. But in this model, it was never designed around taking too much profit. It's always been designed about leaving as much money in the community as possible. Last year, I did our end of year taxes for it. It's a proprietorship, that business. And last year, and I take great pride in this, we left over $1 million in the community, like within, in the homes of people that were really in crisis. And what I'm saying by that is that we're not selling the $10 grams. And by doing that, factoring what we did, we left $1 million at least in the community. So it's a good model. It's receiving really strong support, and hopefully these will be sort of the ways that we can bring medical into the communities, is coming up with a model that we can all operate by. Like I say, dispensing fees are something that we look at across Canada when you go to pick up your prescriptions. I like it as a model. It seems that we've been able to develop a strong business model around that, and one that's proven it can be successful.
Well, it's not going to be a smooth transition. I think everybody knows that. But it's going to be a transition.
Yeah. No, I would agree that, there's going to be. But I think for the most part, though, the average consumer, which probably represents 90%, I think is what they're finding in Colorado and Washington and Oregon, is that 10% of us, I think it's out of Colorado, they found that 10% of the consumers consume 35% of the product. So by that, it kind of almost fits the equation of alcohol consumption or things like that. So I think for the most part, 90% of the market is really going to be unaffected by these changes. They'll just go down and, pick up their weed like they pick up a box of beer. But I do think for those of us that have been around this industry for a long time, sort of us old outlaws, the change is going to feel a bit awkward to start with. I'd have to agree, because it's always been, it's been kind of an exciting time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of taken the wind out of our sails, isn't it?
I think you're right, but I've been medical for a long time. I'm an original MMAR holder,
right?
And I actually enjoy being able to walk into an establishment. Hi, how are you? They know who I am. I don't have to produce a card. I can walk in. I'd like that, and that, and then I leave. I like that. Be it medical or 19 plus, I don't care. I like being able to just walk into say, what do you suggest today? They know me. But you're not going to get that from a government-run store. Yes, they're going to train people. Okay.
Right.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of people getting jobs. Okay.
Right.
But they're not going to be the right people, unfortunately.
Well,
not right off the bat, anyways.
No, this is what's very nice about out here in BC is because they're allowing for a hybrid industry, which is going to be public and private. So, which makes it very nice. You're going to have that knowledge base. It's going to be able to have a place to operate from. And here's a really great little side story: is a Soyuz, which is up in the Okanagan in British Columbia. I think it was just the other night, council, what they have elected is they will only allow private retail sales, no government. They said, no way. They want this to be driven by their community, and they want the people that built this industry to benefit by it. So they're going to deny access to government-run stores, not privately run. Now, that's interesting, because some communities are going the other way. So, oh, no, only the government, we're not going to allow that. But this is a fascinating division line, because it's a hybrid model. So the battleground is beginning, and I found that to be just delightful when I read about this in a Soyuz. Those are people you should probably give a call and get them on your show, and they can talk about their views, because I think that was very progressive. It's an understanding of, those are small communities, and I'm sure they all understand that, that there is an income there. These are mom and pop. This isn't organized crime that you're getting into small communities. These are people that are growing some and supplying their friends.
They're helping the community.
Giving back to the community and hiring local trimmers. And, it's a full circle. It stays within the community. And these communities, they understand that, and they want that money to stay. They don't want the government to come in and take the money and run. So this is really, like I say, very, very fascinating times that are happening outside of the TD. That's just sort of old hat. But,
we're in for a bit of a mix-up here in Ontario. And I'm going to cut you off because we're going to take a break. And then when we come back, I'd like to talk about Ontario, what's happening here, because, people watch Ontario and what's going on because of Toronto, because of Hamilton, because of Ottawa. And it's kind of like Vancouver, Toronto, Halifax. Where's everything going on, Marcel, and out where you are?
There's not a whole lot going on out here right now.
Really? Well, hold that, and let's talk about that when we come back. This is the 420 Radio Show. We are live here at Ganjanistas in Hamilton at 252 King East. Come on in and hang out. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Cheech. And this is Chong. And you're listening to Lifestyle Radio. What is it? Lifestyle Radio. Say it one more time. 420 Radio? Ooh.
Hang up and try again.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Celebrate Indigenous Awakening at Legacy 420's first outdoor music fest, August 11th on the Tyendinaga Mohawk territory.
This one's about rock and roll and comic books and bubblegum.
Featuring Headstones, DJ Shove, Derek Miller, and more, with host MC Howie Miller. Opening drum ceremony at 12 noon. Medicinal, food, and Indigenous vendors and artists. Free camping. Tickets $75 at legacy420.com. A 19 and over event. Indigenous Awakening, Saturday, August 11th on Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Take Highway 401, exit 556.
Sponsored by NIMCA and Legacy 420.
Is this the real leaf? Is this the cannabis? Just escape from reality. Just legalize. And I gonna plant my seeds. I'm just a homeboy. Weed is no luxury. To be here, to be there. Little high, very high. Everywhere the weed grows, not all really matters to me. To me. Ganja never killed a man. Put a blunt against his head, light the light and now he's dead. Ganja, everybody, is a gift from God. So why go and throw it all away? Ganja is meant to make you fly. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, pass it on, pass it on. Save me some for later. Too late. The time has come. Getting legal around the world and improving all the time. Goodbye prohibition, grass has got to grow. Gotta leave ignorance behind and spread the buzz. Ganja. We all wanna fly. This magical herb should be distributed to all. Puff off a spliff. Pepper kush, will you make me want to go? Look at all the lights on, very, very frightening me. Marcus Garvey, Roma, Roma, if you go. I'm just a homeboy, nobody stones me. He's just a homeboy from a dry neighborhood, staring his grass from this illegality. Easy plant, easy grow, will you let me grow? No, we will not let you grow. Let me grow. We will not let you grow. Let me grow. We will not let you grow. Let me grow. Let you grow. Let me grow. Let you grow. Let me grow. Since-a-million, let me grow. There's a good one aside for me. Tell me and dreams make me high. So you think you can come here and outsmoke the eye? Oh, brethren, pass it on to me, brethren. Just gotta get high, just gotta get high right now.
just want to say that they're so clean here, it's annoying. They keep taking my ashtray from me. Yes, thank you. You know, I used to sit. I would go to another lounge, and I would be like, "I'd like to come in with my dustbuster when you're closed, please." But now being here, I'm here a fair bit, and there's not a lot of weed on the floor actually. What's the most weed that you've found left? Quarter. Really? Wow. Yeah. And they came back for, "Hey man, did you find my weed?"
No, we're like, "Joe, you left your stuff here." Oh, I thought I lost it. So
yeah.
Okay. We actually have a couple bags back there now with people's names on it.
That you're waiting for to come in? Is there a 30-day wait? Like my bicycle, when I found my bicycle, I had to take it to the police, and then they said in 30 days if nobody comes, it's yours. I got my first 10-speed that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we, donate it sometimes.
Yeah.
People are a little bit
Well, yeah, that's great. Yeah, they come in, they don't have anything. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I like it here, Paula. So, this is the 420 radio show, and that was Paula, the owner of Ganjanistas. And we're talking with Randy Caine, who is having some issues with banking, and he's a member of the community. And I think we're all about to experience stuff like this that are in business. And it's, yet another interesting ride. I wanted to talk about Ontario because Ontario seems to have taken a slide back now. They have... because Mr. Ford is around now, they are saying, "Hey, wait a minute. Let's rethink this," right? Anybody?
I'm not in Ontario.
I know you're not. Janice
I
is.
can't help you with that.
Yeah.
That was a Janice question. Oh,
Sorry,
Mary Jane.
I was distracted.
You were extracted?
You were extracted?
I was distracted for a second. My boyfriend walked in the room.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Okay.
He doesn't know about us, does he?
More ice cream?
More ice cream.
That was funny. That's funny. So, I'm sure you know what's going on. You've read the article, right, Mary Jane?
Which article are we referring to?
Well, from the other day, the one that I sent everybody, it's in our chat thing there. Basically, it said that we were going to go forth with these changing, and it is a bill that they're putting forth. I can't remember. It's C71 or something like that. If anybody knows, if you message me, I'll know. And they've put the kibosh on it because of the new government coming into play. I'm sure Al will tell me, or PJ or somebody. I'm trying to load everything. Come on now. Anyways, I'll find it. So we were chatting about... I don't remember what we were chatting about when we left. Anybody else?
What, when we left for break?
Yeah.
Well, I think we were talking about some of the models going on in British Columbia, this hybrid model.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what we were going to talk about Ontario, that maybe because at this point you don't have a hybrid model. This is all going to be government run, is what I understand, and very limited access.
Yes,
and is that about to change now under the new Ford regime?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. We don't know. They have there was a bill that they were putting forward, that the Liberals were putting forward, and now they have decided to rescind that bill and not follow through on it until they've decided what they want to do. And then basically I was listening on the radio and I heard basically Ford has said he wants to put up a sign that says "Welcome to Ontario."
Okay, all right. That'd be wonderful. So, yeah, you'd be maybe looking at a hybrid model then. That would be probably the very best thing happening.
It's hard to tell because when he first threw himself into the race there, he was all for it. He wanted to set up. He wanted a free exchange of business. Blah 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 blah. Then all of a sudden they turned around and reined him back in. He said, "Oh no, we can't do that."
It made money nervous, I guess, eh?
Made somebody nervous. It made somebody nervous.
Yeah, it did. Well, the whole idea is that my sense of where some of the challenges are coming is that on the one hand, we have the Trudeau government discussing about breaking the monopoly as being the greatest thing that could happen. So we take it out of the hands of organized crime and we remove all the money and the incentives behind it and, a great thing. But what we're doing is we're taking that very monopoly and putting it in somebody else's hands. So I think that's probably the great failing point I would look at if we don't get into these hybrid models, is that it's still going to be a money pit. It's still going to draw those that maybe don't have the best interest of their community in mind. It's not going to broaden, I guess, sort of the benefits in a community. So I do think the idea of trying to break, sort of that model, I think would be the best approach. So we'll see what you guys end up doing there in Ontario. I do like what's happening here in BC because of that.
So, and you were saying that not much is going on. I know that Jess and Chris have just been warned that if they're open on the 17th, they're going to be closed.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris posted something about that the other day. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say that before we went on break.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the biggest news down here is that the staff sergeant told Chris that they will be closed on October 17th one way or the other.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I think it's high time that the Maritime Medical Dispensary Association went and filed for an injunction.
Really? And
because
that would slow things down?
Well, that would be the logical step, is to file an injunction so that they're left alone, so that the courts can finally hear the medical need. This province is different than every other province. This province isn't going to have standalone cannabis dispensaries run by the Liquor Commission. It's going to be in existing liquor stores.
Oh, Christ, really? Oh,
so you're going to go into a liquor store to get cannabis at a separate counter in the store. The cannabis that's going to be available is all going to be prepackaged. You can't see it, you can't smell it until after you leave the premises.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And they've already made it clear. The Nova Scotia Liquor Commission's made it clear that they are not going to supply medical patients.
Okay.
So the medical patients still need access. This, to me, would be viable grounds to have an injunction in place, to have a hearing to make sure that Nova Scotia gets standalone dispensaries for medical patients.
I like that as a solution. That sounds very interesting.
It is, and it's not so much for the dried flower, because they can get dried flower everywhere, but it's for the concentrates, the edibles, the capsules, the suppositories, the things like that the legal market is not going to have access to.
No, and we find with the dispensary that we run here or the Compassion Center is 2/3 of people don't use bud. They use other delivery systems. So you're absolutely right in that regard. And that's what I was saying earlier. What we've done at Relief is put forward a proposal for a pilot project so that we could use what we've created here as something and presenting it to the 3 levels of government. Now, I love what you're talking about. Would that, though, be a useful approach for the medical? Maybe if we all got on board within our own areas, that we create these proposals to, develop pilot projects within communities. Pilot projects are always a wonderful way to handle things, whether it be safe injection sites or, any other sort of new things that are coming into a community that often are quite polarized. But for allowing, pilot projects, it gives, a community full governance and guidance over it, so it can allow them to feel a little bit more safe with, change. So it might be another approach, but I do like the idea of all of us trying to work together to the betterment of, medical access in Canada. So this injunction, I'm going to look and see whether that could be an approach for us out here, too.
It wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I really like that. Thank you for that.
No problem. Anything to keep the dispensary for the patients, so they can at least see what they're going to get.
Yeah. You need that. You need that conversation. You need the advice from somebody else who is also there for the same reason.
Yeah.
And when you don't get that, like I walk in, like I said earlier, I walk into the dispensary, and I'm like, "Hey, what do you think? What's good today?" And I mean, they know I have ADHD. They know I have pain issues. They know I have this. They know I have that. It's right there when they sign me in, right?
Yes.
And you need that, but it used to be you would go in to the bank of weed, I used to call it, and it was like walking into a bank, and you go up to the teller. You got 30 seconds. You're not allowed to hang out. You're not allowed to do this. You need that. You need a place like the last time I was in somewhere.
Where did everybody go?
Everybody's here.
Oh,
yeah, everybody's
everything
here.
cut out completely.
No, we're here.
Yeah, just for a moment.
Anyways, it became very disconnected in a lot of places because they went from having patients behind the counter to people who are just working.
Yeah.
And it's as well as all of us that work with medicinal and maybe even use medicinally ourselves, we understand the consistency that we require of a product. Let's say I have, one of the local officials here, a provincial MLA. This is what's brought her into the understanding around consistency of product. Is apparently there was an elder in her family who was dealing with the aches and pains of getting older, decided they were going to pursue, using marijuana medicinally, went out, managed to find some gummy bears that apparently worked phenomenally. But after they ran out, they went back to try to purchase those very ones, but they weren't available.
And
so this is also something moving forward as we do understand. We need consistency in that regard, too, because when you finally get a medical user stabilized, the most challenging and most, heart-wrenching moment for me is that if I cannot give them the very same product that satisfies their needs. So that's a huge thing moving forward, too, is that we do need that consistency, and it's not just about knocking the LPs because they're going to grow bad weed. It's about, is it going to be the same phenotype? Is it the same grower? And as we know, it's really, those little subtleties might not be much to, just sort of a non-medical user, but to a medical user, those subtleties are the difference between really good pain management and okay pain management.
Well,
so
let's explain why there is a difference here for a second, Randy. I mean, because a medical user, when you first start, you've got to go to a plateau where you're kind of not stoned anymore, and that at that point, it's working for you, and you don't get that buzz that buddy down the road smoking a doobie at the corner would.
You bet.
Because you've got that much in your system.
You've built up a tolerance. Like
right.
any medication, you'll build up a tolerance.
The issue that most people have, like myself, who are on ODSP, it's a little easier now. But, 5 years ago, 10 years ago when I started doing this show, I had nowhere to go and get cannabis other than the guy down the road. I didn't know what I was getting, when I was getting it, or how much I was getting for it. If I came down to the city to go to the dispensary, the only one that I was signed up for, and I'd get an ounce or two, then I'd have to drive back from Toronto to the Owen Sound area, going through a heavy, heavy cop area that is notorious for pulling people over at night for spot checks, okay? And I mean, that's very, it's very unnerving, and a lot of people go through that. I come in, I love this place because it's illegal to walk down the street and smoke a joint. Even if I'm medical, I've been told people are getting fines here in Hamilton on the street for smoking in public. Already.
Even medical patients?
Yep, and one of the gentlemen that are here told me that he was coming out of one of the other dispensaries down the road, and the cops called him over and gave him a $50 ticket for going in there or doing whatever. They're giving tickets out.
Can't give a ticket for somebody going into a business.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
They
this is all
just
part.
like they're doing at pharmacists. They were standing outside a pharmacist one afternoon, accosting people and taking away their meds. They're doing that here in Ontario as well. Not necessarily Hamilton, but I've heard people coming out of medical dispensaries, and the cops call them over, or the cops, start jotting down information and shit. And it's needless. It's needless. I have a license. You got a problem with that? Go talk to my fucking doctor.
No, I know, but see right now,
he's the boss. The doctor in Canada is the boss. When your doctor says, I asked my dad about 10 years ago this question, Dad, when you stand up in a court of law for a patient and said, my patient needs to be able to do this, Your Honor, and Your Honor says, okay, doctor, then it becomes precedent, like it happened with Terry Parker and so many other, Matt Murnaugh, and, that's why we are here today. Okay?
Right. If you can get the doctor to testify in court, then the doctor is the expert.
He is the last one. He is your doctor legally, personally. He's the one that says, this man wants to die, he can die, or this man wants to not die and he can use cannabis.
Yeah.
Because we have the right to die here in Canada. Okay?
But you see, what you're talking about is, once again, is this stigma that remains, and so they're able to continue to bully. Now, my hope is moving forward, once we get to October 17th, and that's removed from them, this bullying, this opportunity to really, carry on as they have in the past.
In all honesty, I think what we're going to see come October 17th is an increase in bullying, and it's going to be in the form of driving.
Yeah. Well,
because they're going to pull everybody and their dog over for nothing.
Yeah, well, then you know what? I could just see charter challenges all over the place, and
lawyers know it's coming. The lawyers, this is a lawyer's wet dream that's coming.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful. Well, I've been tucking a little money away, squirreling it away, because I want to invest in lawyers for this very reason going forward. So that's kind of, like I say, I really believe that's important, that becomes sort of a focal point for us moving forward, is that discussion. And it's not about the sad stories. It's not like that, although there's a lot of them. But it's really about helping people understand the consequences of that bullying, of those misrepresentations of us. So people could begin to reconsider how they might think towards us. And we've got to realize that so many of these people have been brainwashed and conditioned for their whole lives. I know a lot of pot smokers that also apologize for being pot smokers. We feel that somehow we're a bit guilty ourselves.
I refuse
to
apologize.
There is a lot, and I just think if we got discussing that and could understand, sort of the consequences of what this has done to so many in Canada, I think would really go a long way in broadening the dialogue. That maybe it would really help us celebrate the change. That maybe this is just raising the bar in Canada in terms of how we're going to choose to treat each other. I'd love to see that be what we celebrate, not the idea of being able to make a buck on it. I mean, as groovy as that is, but to actually say, you know what, right on, Canada, we fucking got it. This is not a good way to treat people, and that would be a nice thing to see. And that's kind of where my voice is moving, as we go along. Is that, and like I say, I'm not opposed to there being an industry. There needs to be that, but how we got here was about human rights issues. And those challenges, and you know what? And I think it's a great moment in terms of that, in terms of Canada, that we should celebrate that. That should be, I'd like to say, a focal point of the change, is the betterment of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to just celebrate this miraculous plant.
Well, that too. Wouldn't that be nice for peace to just break out?
And look where we are in the world, what's going on around the world. Wouldn't it be nice that on October 17th, the world just goes, hey, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Try this.
Essentially nothing happens. It's just another quiet day in Canada.
Yeah.
It's going to be another quiet day in Canada. I mean,
there's going to be a big
Canada.
poop. Yeah, there's going to be a big poop, though. Come on, man. I know I'm going to be like, yep, this is my first. Well, it's not my first legal weed because I'm medical.
But You know, the people in Uruguay thought the same thing was going to happen. They thought the world was going to come to an end when they got legalized. Dick, all has really changed.
You know what I forgot to ask Jack was, on October 17th, if I want to put 4 seeds in a plant in a planter box and turn a light on, am I allowed to do that? Like, is that the day that you're allowed to put a couple of seeds in the ground as well?
We don't know. Yeah, technically, it would be yes.
Yes.
But the question would then be raised: are patients that are licensed patients through the ACMPR or MMAR or MMPR, because we're so cool with our abbreviations.
Don't forget about the ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Well,
6.
I could mention the Section 56, but they all got swindled out of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a great government.
Yes.
But I don't know if these recreational regulations are going to apply to the medical patients, because if medical patients are allowed to grow 4 per household, that increases their plant count and puts them in violation of their ACMPR, MMAR, et cetera, et cetera.
From what I had understood, as a medical patient, you could still grow your amount under the ACMPR or MMAR, whichever you have, and then you were still entitled to grow your 4 recreational plants on top of.
I was going to ask that. So you get that 4 extra plants as well.
I would,
to the best of my knowledge, that's what the CTCP was telling me.
Yeah.
Right. But you're still not going to be able to exceed what you can have on site. They're going to monitor that.
No, I think there's going to be no storage limits. I also heard they were removing the storage limits on medical.
That's interesting.
Randy, would you like a copy of the regulations?
Yeah, I would love one.
All right. Well, I'll get your email after, and I'll send you a copy.
Perfect. I appreciate that. No, I know there are these changes. I mean, I go to these meetings. There's so much discussion going on. Once this comes into play, ACMPR is the one that will trump everything, and all the other ones are going to fall away, is my understanding. So anybody who was grandfathered in after October 17th, all of that grandfathering comes also to an end. So,
no, that would be up to Judge Phelan.
Yeah.
Well,
they have to prove that they've met the requirements of Judge Phelan's order, which was to make a viable medical system. If we don't have fair access across the country for patients, then they never followed through on that order.
Which some judges have
said
but
it may have to be challenged
still, right?
again, is what I'm kind of seeing, is it potentially challenged again.
And there have been a couple of judges that have said there's still not fair access, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah,
and as long as there's
that
one,
would have to go under review and say, okay, would this be considered fair access so that you could go purchase it anywhere? We look at it, you're very right, we're looking at it as advocates for medical patients, which is a very different focus than they can go down to the corner store and buy weed. Very, very different than medical access, and that's something that you're right, clarity needs to be brought to that. These are 2 very different circumstances.
Speaking of clarity, Mary Jane was nice enough to pull up the smoke-free on outdoor spaces in Hamilton. So I'm gonna just enlarge it here so I can read it, because my eyes are not what it used to be. Smoking is illegal in or on a range of outdoor areas in Hamilton, including bar and restaurant patios, whether they are covered or not, city-owned recreation centers or arena properties, city-owned outdoor pools, trails and waterfront trails, leash-free dog parks. No smoking in a leash-free. That's where I take my dog. She runs around crazy, and I sit on a bench and smoke a doob. Fuck you.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, fuck
That's
you.
where my dog smokes hers.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, man. Let's see where else. Skateboard parks. You're not allowed to smoke in a skateboard park. Now we're talking
city-owned.
We're talking about tobacco, though.
Right.
I mean,
well, smoking anything right? Just smoking, vaping as well.
Yeah, but that
Vaping's included.
section that included cannabis is now off the table. So that's not involved in this. So this means still tobacco is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Okay. Just so
we have no bylaws about smoking in public as of yet in Ontario.
Okay.
For cannabis.
I've gone to a couple of meetings out here that were advisory meetings for government officials, municipalities, in terms of moving forward with the retail sale of marijuana. And the lawyers that have been speaking to them have advised them to be very, very cautious when it comes to medical access and medical use. They're advising them that if they try to step on the toes, at least as here in BC, that they could anticipate that there will be charter challenges. So they are being advised to be very cautious about limiting medical use. And this is kind of neat because even looking at the federal and provincial schemes, or at least our provincial scheme, is they've been very, very clear in ensuring that this is only having to do with the non-medical, not the medical. So I think it's kind of it's a very good defining line. So moving forward, I think that there's a lot of opportunity for medical supporters to define some of the new regulations and get in there early on. I do believe the governments that I'm bumping into, or these officials, they need guidance. They're ready for it. They've accepted non-medical, and they just need, strong guidance. And I think that that's where an opportunity will be for all of us in that role as educators.
What are people
That also
saying?
says that it's a tobacco enforcement officer.
Yeah.
Which would make him a bylaw enforcement officer.
I know that they've it's not going to be as far as the lounge goes, it's not going to be a cop that walks in the first time or the second time. It's going to be an inspector, probably a health inspector, building inspector, electrical inspector, or fire inspector, plumbing inspector, whoever that is. It's not going to be law enforcement. Here's the issue, though. Those inspectors have the ability to padlock. But not there has to be there's a system they have to go through. They can't just no, you're done, padlock it. They have to give you the you're fine and you can fight it and blah 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 blah. So there's an avenue through the courts this way as well. But the argument is I'm in Hamilton. I don't live here. I can't go and sit on a park bench again now without more risk. So I need a place to come to.
Right.
I have that need, and there's three
that's
other people in here that have the same need.
Yeah, I'm unclear whether they'll be able to prohibit you as a medical user as they would be able to prohibit a non-medical user.
Well, I don't think there should be any identity there at all. It should be cannabis, period.
Well, no, I would agree, but at least in the temporary is that we need to define, that there are those that have necessity and there are those that don't.
Yes.
And if that's the line that needs to be drawn in the sand in the immediate, as we begin to evolve towards, sort of improving this, then wonderful. But at least I would support that line being drawn in the sand. If we've drawn the line and said, okay, there can be retail sales and it's regulated this fashion, then I would also say that there should be sort of non-retail or medical access and regulated a certain way.
Well, I mean, we're somebody, an old man that lives in a small community in the city that has 20 or 30 different, what did I say, 80 different dispensaries that you can walk into and get your medicine. And then, like, where are you supposed to go use it? You can't use it in your condo because the condo says no. You can't use it in your apartment. You can use it in your backyard, but you can't be seen using it. I mean...
Well, no, but like I say, I don't know whether they'll be able to prohibit medical use, and this is what I'm finding here in D.C., is that you can use it in your place. They're not going to be able to prohibit people that are from the smell and whatever. This is the advice that all of these, lawyers that are trying to stop us are advising, sort of the local officials that they have to be very cautious in doing this because having medical necessity, how can they limit this? It's a very different ground than those that don't have it. So I do think moving forward, things are going to be defined a little better in that area.
there's going to be a lot of people get harassed to find out who's medical and not medical, and then
no,
there's
I
going to be
agree that the harassment is going to
majority.
be. I totally hear what you say
The
there.
majority of the people are going to say, "Oh, I'm medical." We'll prove it. I don't have my paperwork on. You know what happens then? There's going to be a lot more arrests, I think, right off the bat.
Well, I think we were going to maybe have to get accustomed to carrying our card. It's no different. Let's say if you're a diabetic and you carry syringes, they also carry a card so they can purchase it. And so then if they're actually seen using or found with a syringe, they just show, this is who I am, and it's accepted within sort of the medical realm. So I do think that hopefully over time it will evolve accordingly. In the onset, you're absolutely right, is that it's going to take a bit for a lot of this bullying to stop. But we will be able to push back at it. There are methods that we can use, like I say, in terms of, hate crime or hate speech or unfair treatment. Once we're granted full citizen rights, and that's very different. When you're branded as a criminal, all your rights are removed. When we come back now and we're lifted, we're granted equal rights to everybody else. That's going to be a real change, and sort of, the landscape moving forward. We'll be able to not just expect to have equal rights, but to demand those equal rights. That's going to be a game changer. It's going to take, I think, a period of time for that all to come into play. But you could look at, let's say, same-sex relationships in Canada. Is that, there are a lot of people that still think this is an issue, but they can only take sort of their hate or their disapproval only so far. Yeah. And I think we're going to be covered by the same rules moving forward. So that I think is really the new landscape. So we need to look at that, and like I say, celebrate it. We will become full citizens of Canada, and many of us have been denied full citizenship up to this point, and I think it's pretty awesome.
Marcel's back.
Yes, he is.
I heard you click back in. I didn't know you were gone though. It's a conversation that we have here at the lounge a lot. I just said to Paula there while you were chatting or talking, like, she's the only lounge here in an area of 10, I'd say, dispensaries within view. And people do come in. There's a lot of sniffers that go by. They walk by the door. They hear the music. They stop. They go. You see them smile, and then they walk along. And then you see them come back. There's a lot of people that just poke their head in and then just keep going as well. But more and more. How many people do you think a week you're having coming in now, Paula? Come closer. Here, come closer and talk.
Probably at least like 10 to 15 a day.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. It's interesting. I've been hanging around for about a month now, and it's more and more people. Like I see a lot of regulars come in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's starting.
Yeah. And then you got a night, because you're open pretty late.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday, so
and
till 1.
You got a night crowd that comes in, a regular night crowd.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. You're supposed to have some new people come in today.
There's supposed to be some new things happening. Those people couldn't come today. They said they're going to come.
How long have you been open now?
What's that?
How long have you been open?
A month now.
A month?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful.
I walked in the door and it was just like, oh, you're not leaving.
That's exactly how it was designed to be.
Well, we're going to start doing shows out of here regularly, and Paula's going to start doing a little Ganjanista TV.
Yeah.
And we got a stage set up in here, and also
the mic works.
And the mic works when I don't unplug it.
Yes.
But I want to say that this is also an event space. So if you're in Hamilton and you want to have a cannabis-friendly event, come and say hello. 242 King East in Hamilton. And they have events going on. You have like 4 or 5 different things a month?
4 or 5 different things a month. Comedy shows, paint nights.
Oh, the comedy show was fun.
That was fun.
I've never done anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
A little vulgar.
We have another one coming up on July 20th.
Okay.
Comedy show.
Oh, wonderful.
I'll be in Nova Scotia with Marcel.
Well, maybe you can teach me how to work these things.
Yeah,
and,
that'll be a comedy show itself.
Teach you how to use it, and you can broadcast it there.
There, and it'll be just like you're there. Here.
It'll be just like I'm here. Hello, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? So, you've been here a month, and you're seeing steady people come in. Is it what kind of people? What age?
All ages. Well,
Yeah.
We're 19 plus.
Yeah.
But we're seeing.
Although your kid has run through here once, I saw. Seen my mom? Vroom. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, he's fast. Isn't he? We're seeing a lot of different age groups, especially a lot of older age groups. Actually, older
Here comes
ladies
an older
coming
age
in.
group right there.
Dale.
One of our regulars, Dale. He had to go get some regular Ziggies.
Yeah.
You don't have
He's
Ziggies.
old school. He likes his zigzags.
I like my Ziggies too. So, anyways, it's all different. Yeah, baby boomers are us. It's all different. I've seen all different ages. There was some kids in here from, I shouldn't say kids. There were some 19-plussers in here from Buffalo. They were up on the weekend for a wedding, and they had no place to go because they heard not to smoke on the street.
Yeah.
So they came in
No,
here.
don't smoke on the street. They're giving out $65 tickets on the street, all around downtown.
And somebody was just telling me he got a $50 ticket for coming out of a dispensary.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And they're taking.
I think they're taking advantage. You know.
I mean, look. This is your business, and you are a medical patient, and throughout the day you need to be able to medicate.
Yeah.
And you have the right to do that.
Yes.
And it is the business's right to say whether or not you should do that or not, or it should be anyways.
It should be.
And if cannabis is legal, I understand the non-smoking thing. I completely. Like, if they came in here and said, you can stay open, but you can't smoke cannabis in here in the bud form, it has to be vaped.
Yep. We have no problem. We have vaporizers.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're here for
But
for
ideally,
people
what
to
they
use.
should be coming in and saying, you can't have any tobacco in here.
No,
we don't.
We don't. No alcohol, no tobacco,
Not
even
even
blunts.
Then you should already be compliant.
I think
Yeah,
we are.
I think-
I just sent you on your phone
Yeah.
a copy of the Smoke-Free Ontario thing, and I'm sure you've read that.
We also have a carbon air filtration system here.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know at one time they talked about that was one of the conditions.
Yeah.
And I mean, if when you come walking down the street, if there's 5 or 6 people in here and they're all smoking doobies, of course you're going to smell it outside.
Yeah. Well, we can shut
you
the door as
don't,
well,
but
right?
You don't normally.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, come on. You go down here at Chestnut or whatever it's called there, and that's all you smell walking down King Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. They're breaking the law, Marcel.
But it's the
poor people
vulnerable
breaking the
ones,
law.
Unfortunately, that are going to be
Bunch of
marginalized by
homeless
all of
criminals.
this, right?
There are a lot of transients in this area, and they even have clinics open up on the weekends for them, free injection sites. They come in across the street in the little market.
Yeah.
But yet, if we wanted to have a cannabis market,
No, sorry. No, you can't do that. That's illegal.
Do you have to get a permit?
yes,
Yeah.
to use it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let's ask Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
Jack knows shit.
Oh, Jack.
We should do it. Yeah. Anyways.
We should do a Let's Call Jack segment.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask him, but now he's busy as a mofo now.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing that I'm enjoying. I'm sitting here and I'm a people watcher, so
Yeah.
I'm enjoying watching what I see when people come in and out. And I've not seen. You hear the government saying, "Oh, it's a place for shady people."
Oh.
There's only one shady person sitting here, and I'm it.
Oh, come on now. No, but the overall reaction from the neighborhood and all the people that live in it or work in it has been very, very positive.
Any complaints at all?
None at all. Only that they wish that we didn't just cater for cannabis people because they would love to come in here and have a coffee and enjoy the space themselves.
Okay, so who's to say they can't?
I said they can. You certainly can. Oh, but we don't like the smell. I said, well, there's nobody here smoking right now.
That's
I mean,
there.
you know.
There's several restaurants in the area?
Yeah, there's new ones that are opening up.
We should look at getting that one of little parking space things there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wouldn't that be the day?
Wouldn't that be the day, eh? Yeah. Sorry, we're dreaming. So, Marcel, I mean, do you think that you guys, like, it sounds like Vancouver's in for a real treat coming up, and you guys are as well.
How do you say that town's name?
Osios? We're just screwed out here.
You're screwed out there.
We've got the highest per capita medical users or medical patients
SYOOS
in the country.
Osios.
Have you heard of Osios?
We have a thriving black market, and thanks to the government's response here and the federal government's response, our really black market's going to rock.
Have you heard of that, the town Osios or whatever it's called? Because I haven't.
Osios, BC?
Osoyoos.
Osoyoos,
okay.
yeah. So they've just moved. That entire municipality town has moved to ban government pot shops
and only
in favor of independent private storefronts.
That's the town we were talking about earlier.
Hello, Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton. Hello.
There is a
spread that.
wonderful sort of what's happening here in BC is to really bring in the existing industries, like where people have been part of this. A lot of these small communities, like I say, is that small growers have been the backbone of what's been going on in communities, and they understand it. They're good citizens, and it's really wonderful to see a small community like Osoyoos recognizing that, and as they're moving forward, saying, you know what? We're not going to push, Bob and Mary out of business. They've been good citizens, and damn right, they're the ones who should have the store. So I love that, and I just made up those names. There's not really a Bob and Mary opening one, but nonetheless.
Wouldn't it be funny if there was? There's areas in Canada that are much like Humboldt down in the States, where it's a whole community, and even the doctors are involved. I mean, I'm elated, but I'm scared at the same time.
Yeah, but like I said, my sense is like at least out here in BC, discussing medical access, is I feel there's tremendous understanding and tremendous support, not just from the local community, but from the different levels of government. And so that makes me feel very good, very confident moving forward, is that at least there's an acknowledgement that that's an area that's yet to be dealt with. They haven't forgotten, they just haven't got around to us yet. And I think it's regrettable. This ought to have been put first. However, I'm okay with that. At least there would be access. It's not the access that those of us that work in this would like to see, but at least it's not going to deny access.
You know what, Randy? We're never all going to be satisfied. Here's my thought on it. Here's my thought on it, okay? We've got our medical. We've had it for a while now. Yes, there's been some bumps and giggles along the way, but we've got our medical, okay?
Yep.
Now they've got their recreational. You can even if you don't want to go and get your medical, you can still get a hell of a lot of medicine out of 4 plants. Learn how to grow. There's no height restrictions now. You can grow it in your backyard next year. Just go out and do it. You learn how to scrog.
Yeah, no, I totally share your view that, moving forward, that this is, it's really a great step forward, and it will improve over time. I'm quite confident of that. And, no, I think there's a lot to celebrate, so you're totally on target with that.
I know Marcel has something to say.
No, not saying a word.
So, we're at the tail end of things here, and I would be an ass if I didn't let you plug your business.
My business, what?
I
Which
swear
one?
all the time.
Anyway,
you can swear?
No. I'd probably, I do. I run my stores. I've got Hempyz and, of course, Relief, and I don't want to plug them. I'm really proud of everything I've done, and if people want to have a look, and that'd be great. So, but not looking to plug it. It's always been about trying to do something positive in a community, to maybe change how people thought of us. And if that's the one thing that I really can brag about when it comes to Hempyz and Relief, is that they've really been positive role models in the community in the face of those that wanted to paint us differently. We've been able to stand, sort of the test of time and has moved it along. So that's probably my plug, if I can give one, is that it was been just an amazing journey, and I'm grateful how it's all turned out. How's that?
You got a website?
Yeah, it's hempyz.com. That's HEMPYZ.com. That'll give you a bit of a little bit of a glimpse of what we are, and but we've also, you could go on Instagram. Hempyz is over there, and so we're fairly active in that regard. But we're very localized, though. We work within this community. I'm out in an area that was quite challenging to build a business in. And so, like I say, in terms of how we've moved forward and the calm that we brought to the community, that's a great marker, for any of us, whether it's Hamilton or whether it's a Soyuz or wherever it is, if we leave something positive, if we've been part of a positive change. And, for that, I guess I'm ever grateful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to have this conversation. I sat there and listened to you on Pace last week. And it was very interesting. And I have to hold my tongue on Pace. I'm not involved in the show itself, so it's nice to have a conversation with somebody who I enjoyed listening to, and I really appreciate you being here.
I really appreciate that.
Marcel, tell us before we go what's going on in a couple of weeks, because we're heading out there in, 10 days?
Holy crap, it's coming fast, isn't it?
I know, eh?
Man, and there's so much to do. But you should come east, Randy.
You know what? That would be actually a fun thing to do. I was thinking about it while we've been talking. It'd be kind of nice to pop on out, hit Hamilton, maybe head further east.
Well, no, you got to go much further east. You got to go to
much further east. Yeah, no, I drove across Canada last fall. I bought a motorhome, and my lady and I drove back and forth across Canada last fall. Too bad I wouldn't have known all that was going on around. I could have stopped in, but you know what? I may make it back here over let's say early fall, before October 17th. I'd like to get out there and have a look.
Well, I'm heading out to.
You should try and plan for it for the 20th to the 22nd of
there you
July.
Go. There's this pitch.
Really, eh?
Oh yeah, because that's when we're having Harvest Fest.
Really?
So tell him about Harvest Fest.
Rocks.
Tell him about it.
Okay, well, then you know what? Let me put on my thinking cap and see if I can make that happen.
All right. While you're thinking, I'll tell you what's happening. So Harvest Fest is put on by Maritimers Unite for Medical Marijuana, and it's our 11th annual Harvest Fest. So we've been doing that for a long time down here, and MUM is an organization that educates all levels of the medicinal uses of cannabis. So this is what started out to be more of a celebration for the patients to be able to go out and let off some steam and have some fun is turned into a spectacular event with live entertainment, educational seminars, vendors, camping, and it's all on private property.
Wow. Okay.
And it's a great time.
And we're going to be broadcasting live the whole weekend.
Really?
And also, now, here's something that most people don't know. Marcel and I have been friends for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
And he's been, I was trying a long time to get him on the show, but we figured it out, and he's been doing the show with me almost 4 years now, I think, maybe even 5. I don't know. I lost track. But we've never met. So this is we're doing a show on the Friday night, which is the 20th, I think, right?
Yeah.
And so it'll be the first time. Now, Mary Jane and I, we go hang out a lot because she comes into Toronto. And when we go to the events, I'm out with Al Graham and Mary Jane, and a few other people come with us. And we do our live on the road thing a lot. So this is going to be the first time that the 420 radio show and all the hosts are in the same talking space.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll share a mic.
after 10 years. No, we'll all have our own mics, buddy. I'm working on that. As long as Best Buy keeps its word and sends me it when they're supposed to send me it, I'll be bringing mics. Don't worry.
Okay, make mine wireless because I'll be doing a lot of moving around.
They are going. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for another wireless pack.
We may not even actually have time to meet.
Oh, we will.
I need hands-free.
Yeah, well, we all have our phones too, right? So.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Go on.
No, I was going to say it's actually a really good time for the patients. We've got security. We've got lots and lots of room.
It's family friendly.
It's family friendly. Bring your kids. Well, your age, your kids might be a little older. You can bring them too. I don't care.
My kids are a little older.
but we have stuff for kids. You can bring your dog as long as your dog's behaving, not an asshole.
Yes.
You don't want asshole dogs.
No.
I have an asshole dog and she's staying home.
Yeah, see, that's what we'd rather you do. If your dog's an asshole, keep it home.
But maybe by next year, because here's my thing. I'm moving into my new place hopefully on the 15th, and then I'm leaving to come out there on the 17th. So literally, when I come home, I'm going into my new place. And I am so looking forward to asshole becoming not an asshole, because she can be a bit of a bitch.
See, I'm not taking the dog because there's...
Well, she's still young, right?
She'll be 12 weeks then, and I'm not going to let her go out to learn how to become an asshole.
Well, you see, and that's the thing. Your dog is for your companion and security, and you need her to maintain a certain composure, and that's how you do it. Unfortunately, you have to take away some of their fun time.
Oh, yeah. But she enjoys it.
Rosa is tenfold better now than she was when I came into the city in January. So I got another song, another one from Ronald Reggae, and this is Dust on My Weed. Or Dust in My Weed. I found some cool songs there while I was on the internet. If you've got a song you'd like us to play, find us, send it to us, lifestyleradio.net, 420radio.ca. We're here every Friday. Randy, thank you very, very much. Please come back anytime you have something to share with us. When you get through your thing, when you have a solution, whatever, you want to come and say hi, please do.
Perfect. Well, I'm running for council in the city of Langley in the fall, so maybe I'll have something to tell you, some really good news. So
I forgot to mention that. Sorry.
Yeah, no. But that'll be the next time we talk. I'll be able to tell you about the great success of what's happened.
And
maybe we'll have you on before that, and we'll boost your campaign a bit for you.
And then maybe we'll have an into the government. Then we'll have an ear of the government.
Well, yeah. Well, at least the Langley municipal government.
Exactly.
The access.
I thank you so much, all of you. It's been wonderful chatting, kind of getting to know all of you a little bit. And if I can get out there, I will. If not, I'll come out there sometime.
Eventually.
If you can't come out for Harvest Fest, at least catch it on the show, because it'll be.
I will. I will do that for sure. You can count on it.
All right. You have a good one.
All right.
Thank you.
We're out of here. Thank you, folks. It's the 420 Radio Show. We'll be back next week.
Man, have you been to Cannabis yet? Cannabis, Campbellford's premier cannabis culture shop at 19 Bridge Street West. They've got bongs, oil rigs, grinders, and papers. Everything you need for consumption. They've got seeds, soil, nutrients, and dome trays too. Everything you need for cultivation. Get top quality seeds from top suppliers like Canuck, Crop King, and wholesaler Nexus. Cannadays. They've got all kinds of awesome cannabis novelties, clothing, and apparel. I know, right? It's a lot more than just a bong shop. Interested in gaining legal access? Cannadays can help. They're a PACE information center. You know, people advocating cannabis education. Come by the shop and check it out. 19 Bridge Street West, Campbellford. Cannadays. Have your say without saying a word. Cannadays.ca.
and the moment's gone. Oh, my leaves pass before my eyes like off dexterity. Dust in the wind. Every time there's dust in the wind. Same old bong, just a drop of water in a seedless weed. Oh, we did crumble to the ground, though we refuse to see. Dust in the wind. Every time there's dust in the wind. Dust in the wind. Every time there's dust in the wind. Now pass it on. Nothing lasts forever, surely not the jade. It blows away. But know your money, one another ounce by. Dust in the wind. Every time there's dust in the wind. Dust in the wind. Every time there's dust in the wind. Take it away, Game On. Take it away, Game On.
Are you looking for cannabis news, education, and people's opinions? Are you looking to learn what Canadian and international cannabis advocates are doing, not only now, but what got them to this point in their lives, and what does the future hold for them? Do you want to learn how patients are using cannabis as a daily medication, or learn how their cannabis use helps them with their medical condition? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then I'm going to suggest to you to tune in to Lifestyle Radio. Catch their live weekly shows and have your questions and concerns answered and find the experience you're looking for. Monday, catch your weekly news broadcast with the Reef Reporters. Then on Wednesday, get several hours worth of cannabis public education. We get things started with Cannabis and Coffee with Tamarawana. Then tune in and catch Pottawa with Russell Barth, who calls himself the world's angriest pothead. Finish up your evening with the award-winning Pace Radio Show with Al Graham and joint host Kim Cooper and Alicia Yashishin. No week would be complete without tuning into Friday night's program, the 420 Radio Show featuring Al Rapp and the 420 Radio crew, Mary Jane Baker and Marcel Gagnac. Cannabis is a lifestyle, and you can catch all your cannabis lifestyle information right here at lifestyleradio.net or at our sister site, 420radio.ca.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Celebrate Indigenous Awakening at Legacy 420's first outdoor music fest, August 11th on the Tyendinaga Mohawk Territory. Featuring Headstones, DJ Shub, Murray Porter, and more, with host MC Howie Miller. Opening drum ceremony at 12 noon. Medicinal, food, and Indigenous vendors and artists. Free camping. Tickets $75 at legacy420.com. A 19 and over event. Indigenous Awakening, Saturday, August 11th on Tyendinaga Mohawk Territory. Take Highway 401, exit 556.
Sponsored by NIMCA and Legacy 420.
So what are you doing? Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.